Hi and welcome to my channel. So this is very heartbreaking news because the UK government is currently on a massive deportation spree. So according to the government itself, this is going to be the biggest deportation spree in the history of the UK, which means that their objective is to fish out and deport every single person that they believe is in the UK illegally or in the UK under circumstances that they do not agree with. So this video should serve as friendly advice if you're in the UK under any of these circumstances. So I'm going to talk about who these people are. But if you're still out of the UK, please do not be tempted to use unscrupulous means or employers or pathways to move to the UK. Be patient and follow the processes that are right, that are correct, and that are going to enable you to live happily in this country. And they are hoping to deport between 100,000 to at least 200,000 people, which they believe are illegal in the UK at the moment. So if you're new to my channel, you're welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, as usual, I appreciate your time. If you haven't joined this family, take this opportunity to hit the subscribe button below so that you're the first person that is notified every single day when I drop a new video on here. I'm one of those people that when I see these things about illegal migration, it's very heartbreaking to me because for me, it's not just about coming to the UK, but it's about maximizing the opportunities that this country brings so that you are better off here than you would be back home. You don't want to be worse off in the UK than you were back home. And I can tell you, many people are currently in these circumstances. Also, I do have a free newsletter, by the way. I've dropped the link in the comment section below. When you join that newsletter, I send information directly to your inbox about visa sponsorship jobs and opportunities to move to the UK legally through legit employers, as well as career progression opportunities if you're already in the UK. Because like I say, there are ways that you can use to come to the UK, but you need to enhance yourself. You need to make sure that you keep on progressing. And so that's what I'm about. You're also going to see my contact details, my WhatsApp number, as well as my email address in the comment section, so that if you need to contact me directly to talk about your specific circumstances, I offer one-to-one support with getting these jobs, like I said, legal employers, career progression, NHS jobs, transitioning, into nursing. Like now, the UK is currently recruiting people, that want to study to become a nurse in the UK. And there are no tuition fees. So if you're successful for this, I've dropped a video on here and many of you have already applied. I've spent all these days supporting, hundreds of you to apply for this opportunity. These are the pathways that you should be using to move to the UK or to remain legally in this country. Do not be tempted, especially those of you that are paying money, by the way, to come. Most of the people affected by this are those people that sold their property, they spent all their life savings to come to this country, but yet they find themselves in very precarious situations. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So again, like I said, if you need to contact me to talk about your personal circumstances, check the comment section below. You're going to see my details on there. Also, where are you watching from at the moment? Drop a comment in the comment section below with the name of your country, just so that I can have an idea and know whether you're already in the UK, and you need different level of support, obviously, and help. If you're still out of the UK, then obviously I know, and I can just share more content about legal ways to move to this country without being in this position. So what is really happening? The truth about the matter is that the UK currently has more illegal migrants than any time in the history of this country. And the strange thing is, when they talk about illegal migration, some people are thinking about people that have moved to the UK illegally. No, these people are not generally the people we're talking about. We are talking about people that have moved to the UK legally, but because of one thing or another, they have ended up, with maybe losing their right to stay in the UK, or they've overstayed their visa. For example, somebody that comes to the UK on a visitor visa, they're a legal migrant. But if you come to the UK and you don't leave, at the stipulated time, you become an illegal migrant. But now, most of the people that are involved in this scheme are people that came through the carer pathway, so the carer visa, and their dependents. Look, it is estimated that there are currently just over 100,000 people, but I tell you that the numbers are way higher than this, and that's why you see that the government is targeting to deport about 200,000 people. One thing is that even me, I was very excited, when the government confirmed that they were going to be stopping the Uganda scheme or the Rwanda scheme. But the thing about that is, what happened was, yes, they're not going to take those people over to Rwanda, but they have kept those planes, have kept the flights that the previous government had, already organized. And those are the flights that are already using now to deport people. So this is something that has already started. It's not like it's still a plan that is on the way. They have already started doing it, and they are just finding strategies to fish out more people, which, by the way, they are finding. Again, like I said, if you know anybody that is in the UK under these circumstances, what should you do? Before we even get into all the details, you need to get a job ASAP. When you're looking for a job, you need to focus on companies that are legal, that are legit, that offer visa sponsorship without charging you, because any company that is going to say to you, for us to give you a COS, you need to pay us, I don't know, £2,000, that means that they're not legit and you are at risk. You are at risk. If you're out of the UK now, look, you may know somebody who is like, hey, if you pay 10 million, if you pay 5 million, you come to the UK, I tell you that your life is going to be hell when you come to this country for most people. Worse still, if you're using this means to come to the UK and you don't have any relative, you don't have anybody in this country, I tell you, people are going through hell in this country. All that glitters is not gold. I'm in the UK. I'm a huge advocate for, encouraging people to come to this country. But for me, there are certain circumstances that rather than be in the UK, you are better off back in your home country. I'm all about the legal migration, coming to this country to improve your personal circumstances and not to be worse off. So what should you do? Again, if you're in the UK under these circumstances, you need to be applying for jobs as a matter of urgency, as a matter of absolute urgency. I cannot stress this enough, because I personally know thousands of people that have been caught out in these situations. You come to the UK, you spend all your money, you're here, there is no job for you, you're stuck, you don't know how to apply for jobs because you didn't apply legally in the first place. It's very, very difficult. And there are lots of things that I don't want to talk about here on YouTube because, for obvious reasons. But this video is just to give you a hint to say, sometimes when you watch a video like this, you think, oh, people are exaggerating this. The real situation on ground is a lot worse. A lot worse. So what has happened when it comes to visa sponsorship and all of these, what has led to all of this? Just to put this into context, in the first quarter of 2024, the UK government cancelled or suspended 519 licenses. So these are companies that have been recruiting overseas workers, mainly carers. So 519 of them in the first quarter of 2024 have lost their right to recruit overseas workers. In the second quarter, which has just ended, obviously, of 2024, guess how many companies? 1,023 companies have had their licenses revoked. We're not talking about the number of people involved. We're talking about the companies alone, which means in 2024 alone, the UK government has revoked or suspended 1,542 licenses from 1,542 companies that can no longer recruit more overseas workers. That is massive. So if you want to think about the number of people that are involved in this scheme, the number of people that these 1,500 companies have employed, how many people do you think there are? There are hundreds and thousands of people that have now had their visa sponsorship revoked, because that is what happens. And this is why many of the charities have been saying that it's very unfair for the government, obviously, to be, to just say, if your company's license is revoked, then you can no longer stay in the UK legally. But that's not really what happens. What happens is that the government actually gives you 60 days to find a new job, a new sponsor, or you leave the UK. So the 60-day notice serves as a deportation letter as well as leave to remain. So it's just 60 days, which means, and one of the things is that many people coming to the UK now, they are very unaware of visa rules. They're just like very nonchalant, very chillax. They're like, oh, my sponsor license has been revoked. So I'm just like, do I need to get a job? I'm like, what? Are you still asking? These are very serious things, but I don't think that many people are aware of the consequences, because if people were aware, they would take more precautions in getting here in the first place. So what happens is when the UK government cancels the sponsor or revokes the license of your employer, if that employer has sponsored you, the Home Office will cancel your visa, which means if you have a 5-year visa, it's going to be cancelled automatically, and they give you 60-day notice. A 60-day notice, obviously, it means that you've got 60 days to legally remain in the UK only. After the 60 days, you become an illegal immigrant. And this is how many people have turned on from legal migrants to becoming illegal in the UK. So these are the people that the government is massively cramping down on. Also, people that come to the UK on student visas, they're not able to afford their tuition fees, and then they end up illegal in the UK, because there are people, aka agents, that are going to come to you and say, look, the tuition fees are £17,000, but guess what? You don't have to worry about it, because if you pay £2,000, you get your visa, come to the UK. It's going to be very easy for you to pay your remaining tuition fees because you get a job. It's very high paying and all of this. But look, the reality in the UK is very different. Look, it's not easy. I cannot stress enough how difficult it is. And the reason why I'm trying to stress on this is so that those of you that are still back home, you have a better idea of it. There's no way that I can even express this on YouTube for you to understand like how challenging this is. And by the way, if you're not aware, I do have a private career coaching program. I've dropped a link in the description box below, or the about section of this channel, where I offer one-to-one tailored guidance on these processes in the UK for people that want to come to the UK legally, or people that are looking for legal ways to remain in the UK, but most importantly, career progression, because you don't want to be earning peanuts for the rest of your life. It's very disheartening. The cost of living is high. Everything is going up, and rightfully so. We are in this country to work less, earn a lot of money, and get to retire early. I didn't come to the UK to be worse off than I was back home. I mean, what is the point? In a foreign country, with everything that we experience to be in this country, you don't want to end up in these circumstances. And by the way, to put this into context, which the government has said that they are really bent on this, as you can see from the numbers that we've mentioned, last year alone, that is 2023, they only suspended 89 licenses and only revoked 28 licenses. So you can see the massive difference. This year, the half of the year, we're already looking at 1,500 companies losing their licenses. Something has also happened that is very dramatic, and I think that's good news. 43% fewer companies have applied this year, 2024, to bring overseas workers compared to 2023, because obviously the Home Office, the UK government, is now stricter with checking out those companies that are getting the license to recruit overseas workers, and they're also doing more compliant checks, which means that companies that are wanting to bring people illegally, people are thinking twice. There's also been quite a few imprisonments, which means that many people are currently in jail, in prison as we speak, because of all these activities. So as a candidate, look, I urge you to be really careful with this UK journey. Be very, very careful which pathways you're using, the people that you're listening to for your relocation journey. If you're coming with your family, you need to make sure that you've done your due diligence. You need to make sure that you're doing your research. You need to make sure that if you're accepting a COS from any company, it's not somebody who is saying to you, we don't have any job, but when you get to the UK, you're going to get sorted, because it is very, very stressful. You have to be careful. Obviously, this is generic advice. Your personal circumstances are going to be different. And by the way, if you're enjoying this content, as strange and as pathetic as it is, I just wanted to hit that like button below. It lets me know that you enjoy content like this, and obviously I should do more, because a video like this is more of a heads up to say, look, for those of you that still listen, for those of you that want to come to this country and enjoy the fact that you're here, enjoy the fruits of your labor, if it's going to take you 1 year to stay back home and get a job legally, my dear, take the 1 year to get a job. Don't rush. Pay money, get to the UK, because that's what's happening to these people. People are frustrated in the UK. They don't have where to live. Many of them are homeless. They are begging people to live in their houses. The winter is coming. It's not going to be easy. But anyway, I'm only giving friendly advice. Obviously, this is friendly advice from me to you, to say if you're watching my videos, please try and do the right thing, follow the right processes. If you're part of my private coaching program, I go on and on about the importance of following UK visa rules, because the government is very strict, and now they're even stricter, because the objective is to get down net migration, to reduce net migration, which means anything that you do that you're messing around, look, nobody is going to have any empathy for you. So they are on a mission to deport more people, and they have already started. Like I say, the flights and the planes that were meant to go to Rwanda, they have now been used, to deport people, and they have already started taking people out of the UK. So this is not something that they're saying we will or we will not. And then in terms of the fines, what's going on with the companies? You may be watching this and you're thinking, Melvis, yeah, but what about the companies that are actually doing all of this? Guess what? The companies are getting massive fines. That's why many of them are closing as well. Some of the companies are even telling the workers that they brought from overseas to find jobs with other companies and leave, because they don't want fines and they don't want to go to jail themselves. I know many people that have already been told by their employers that they should look for COS and leave their company because they don't want them anymore. because some of their other friends have already gone to prison, some have gone to jail, and so everyone is afraid to go to jail. So obviously, they are giving fines. How much are the fines? Previously in the UK, the company used to get a fine of £15,000 if they find that you're having illegal migrants or you're having any illegal practices. Right now, the fine has increased to £45,000 per migrant. If it happens the next time, you get a fine of 60,000, and your business can then get closed if you carry on. So these are employers that are employing people that are in the UK illegally. For example, the government, by the way, there's all these guidelines on the government website. If you are in the UK, for example, on a carer visa, and it says that you can only work 20 hours extra, if you go and you're working 20 hours with different employers, that is not legal. You need to note that. Also, the rules say that you can work 20 hours extra, but you must be working full-time for the employer that has given you a COS. Many people are in the UK right now. Their employers don't have any jobs for them. They have found jobs with other employers and are working calmly. Look, that is not legal. You are also doing things illegally. And that's why I'm saying that the government is fishing out all these people that they believe are not in the UK legally as far as they are concerned, and deporting them and cancelling those licenses and the COS. So please be careful. Let's do things legally. When you go to a foreign country, like they say, when you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. We need to respect the rules in this country. You don't have to agree with those rules, but you must respect them. I'm saying this because I deal with these things every single day. I've got people that are stranded here with families. They are living in pain. They don't know whether kids will go to school the next day. They can't go back home because they have sold everything to come to this country. So if you're watching this and you're still back home, please follow the right pathways. Take your time. If it's going to take you a year to get to the UK, let it take a year. Don't make the mistake to pay these companies and come to the UK and end up like many of our relatives, our friends that are in this country. But anyway, I can only give advice. I can only give you a heads up. What you do ultimately is your own choice. Check this out here.